And I saved the I don't know if this is the best question for last, but the last question for last. And it comes off. So the common idea among my generation is that, oh, as they're getting older, the sex is going to get boring and stuff like that. And I came across this book, Passionate Marriage by Keeping Love and Intimacy Alive in Committed Relationships by a guy called David Shirtnach. And what he was giving is that sex actually gets better with age. His rationale was that when you're younger, you really don't know each other. You haven't gone through trials. You haven't gone through challenges together. So there's a limit to how much you can really know a person intimately. And that by that he meant sexually. And so it gave me hope that, okay, oh, in my gray years, I noticed that I'm the only one that's really gray here among you guys. So anyway, I'll find out that secret later on. That kind of gave hope. So my question to you, and for also my viewers asking that, what can younger couples hope to see by way of sexually as they get older together, as they stay faithful together?
Well. I mean, I'd say this: sex must never be thrown out of the window. You know,
Hmm.
it is an important, integral part of a wholesome relationship.
Hmm.
For want of a better word, I would say it oils the works. It removes the rough edges from and the officialdom of marriage. And brings, well, to use the word intimacy, which is how it is expressed in sometimes. I do not I do not, my experience is that um, as you get older, you have more opportunities for, or let me put it another way. As you get older, you enjoy sex better, you know. Um, some of the things that took away your time in your younger years, begin to dissipate. You create more time for each other because, I mean, you have to, as Junad said, yeah, it's just both of you now, and you do it more out of, I would say, uh, love and consideration and enjoyment, or rather than excitement. So when one is young, sex is more perhaps done out of excitement, and I believe it's an important part of a relationship, and it just smooths out the rough edges, and keeps wholesomeness and togetherness between man and wife. Yeah.
I I agree with what that author, I can't remember the person you quoted. I do believe personally, sex with my wife is better now than it was when we were younger. There is a word that you stated in, I think, the title of his book. If I'm not mistaken, it said committed relationships.
Yeah.
I think that's a key, and actually something that I've told quite a few younger people is that love is felt commitment.
Mm.
Okay. Because I think at that point, the commitment helps with the intimacy, which typically on average for the woman is something that precludes or is foreplay going into the sex. Now, the other thing I'll bring up, which kind of links back to what I said earlier in terms of the heart issue. So, and actually maybe it connects a little bit to what Uncle Sam was saying about being excited. When I was younger, when I was younger, I wanted sex when I wanted it.
Oh.
Okay. And as I've gotten older, my mindset has shifted a little bit in terms of, okay, what is she getting? How is she getting? Is she feeling love? And that mindset. So I'm no longer focused about, when I get it. Even though to some extent, based on what we talked about empty nesting, you could say that you could get it whenever, but really until she feels the intimacy and the concern, you're not going to get it the way you want. So anyway, what I've noticed over time is I've started focusing more on her needs. Is she enjoying it? Sometimes there are longer intervals, but then when she's ready, she's really ready, and it's better than things that have happened in the past. So, yeah, I agree with him, and I guess it depends on different mindsets. But I think when people have been through battles together, they can start to prefer each other a little bit more, and people come into doing certain things, more willing. So I'll leave it at that.
Yes. So sex at as you get older into marriage or relationship is actually more of communication. That we have to differentiate between sex and intercourse. What I mean by that is that it's a language, it's communication, it's intimacy. And it does change, when you were younger, just met each other, it's more animalistic than it is now. At this stage, nobody's worried about pregnancy or infidelity, because like Uncle Fubara said, you've been through battles, you were younger and restless, but everybody's settled now. And it could be manifested in touching, kissing, just holding hands and stuff like that. But again, understanding the body physiology, understanding that as you get older, things are not going to be the way they used to be. The spontaneity actually is more, it's just like you don't have to plan it. If either party feels, at the time this is what they want, and then you go for it. But I think the most important thing that I've realized about sex this day is that, like Uncle Sam said, it is a way of getting back to why we're here. In other words, how do we come together? How do we form a unit? It is during those times that you realize that, you know what, I made the right choice. I'm not talking about sexual intercourse for the physical enjoyment, but what you derive from it. Again, I'm not talking about the physicality of it. I'm talking about the connection that this person, it's me and I am her. I don't know if I'm making any sense with that. You've gone through stages of the basic animalistic instinct. It gets to the point now that you're making love to get to each other below the surface. The intimacy is, sometimes when there is misunderstanding or a little bit of tension in the air and all this kind of thing, and after sex, everything just calms down. You're just like, this is why we're still here.
I mean, we've come to the end of the question. This is why I now throw it on to you guys. I've been hammering you guys with questions. And so, but it can either be a question or just some final comments you have for my viewers on Father's Day.
I would say to everyone, firstly, this has been a great privilege for me to be able to share thoughts with Uncle Janad and Uncle Fubara. I'm grateful to Kate who have invited me here to share these thoughts. at the end of the day, marriage is good, and it is not without difficulties. Fubara said that you've got to work at it. It won't come easy, but as you get older, you begin to see the benefits, and some far more than you even expect. Leave the memory with your wife that she has a happy home. Leave the memory with your children that we had a good example at home from our parents, not just from what they taught us, but from the way they lived their lives. Yeah, God bless.
So, to be a father, typically there are two connections. There's a biological one with a woman, and there's also, kids that you're parenting. And just want to take a moment to acknowledge individuals that may not have biological kids, yet you are still fathers because of I'll say parenting, and it's a whole mix of mentoring and coaching and examples to other people. And so I think that's maybe the biggest thing, the example. And I think Uncle Sam had touched about that in terms of what his parents, not his parents, his kids said about the way he treated the wife. And so as fathers, we are setting examples to both our daughters and our sons in terms of how to live based on the way we've treated their mothers or women in their lives, and also the way we've parented them. So I think that's what I'd like to leave people with. There's no perfect father on earth. I think all of us have tried to do the best we can, and we should continue to do that. And we should also try to help our wives and our kids understand that where possible. Some of this is not going to be, it will take time. I mean, some of the reflections we've shared today are looking back. So that's what I just said. To the younger, so Stanley, to you and to, people in your age bracket, just continue being the best example you can be and realize there's no perfection. So you shouldn't beat yourself up because of things that you think you did or you didn't do.
Yes, I just like to say that, it's been a pleasure being invited to this forum to share my views. But what I want to leave you with is that being a father, being a parent it's not an easy job. It's a learning process. No one can prefer to be an expert on the topic. But always realize that your children are looking up to you, whatever you do. They aspire to be what you are, regardless if you're the biological or otherwise. Be conscious of the fact that, being responsible, taking care of them, taking care of their mother, preparing for their future. These are things that they will look back on. And at the same time, make sure that you do not neglect the feelings of your children and your wife. Because at the end of the day, happiness is having everybody come back together, at the end of the day, to reminisce on how things were. And also take the ego out of the equation. Nobody is author, I don't want to use the word author, but nobody is perfect in whatever they do. Always entertain the views of others and be willing to learn. So all in all, being a father is a privilege that one should take seriously, because those young children, they are looking up to you, and whatever it is that you do, they are most likely to copy. So I wish everyone the best.
So there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for joining with us. for this Father's Day series. And from my couch to yours, bye for now.